Thank you for joining us. Hope your conference is going well. My name is Michael. I am from a company called Zimark, and we are a tech company that helps with shipping control and 24/7 inventory with in the warehouse. And today I wanted to talk to you all about navigating the tech jungle. As you know, tech can be a scary process, change could be a scary process, but as things move faster in the modern day world, we need to adjust and become more efficient. So today I want to talk to you about how we look at buying tech and some helpful tips and tricks, I think, to navigating which tech to choose, because there is a lot to choose from. Additionally, I would like this to be interactive, so I don't need to talk at you. I'd love to hear from you all what you've seen, because you have experience in buying it and what has helped you through this journey. Okay. Okay, so when we look at buying tech, we look at three processes really. There is choosing the tech, then integrating the tech, and then ultimately using the tech to the fullest of its capability. I think all three offer their challenges. I think that all three offer their advantages. But I think, in my opinion, some are harder than others in this process. Like for instance, I think choosing tech is one thing, but I think the using tech is really where you see problems, like I've seen with working with 3PLs and warehouses, like fully being able to utilize the tech to its full capability and getting all the ROI out of it that you could. So we'll start with choosing tech. So, in choosing tech, I think there are a couple things that we need to look at when you're choosing like the right solutions for your warehouses. First of all, automating technology has the potential to reduce labor costs by 60%. I think that labor, from my experience and speaking with people in 3PLs and in the industry, is hard to find, right? I think that's one of the biggest things that tech could help with, but I also think you need to be careful because tech can impose unforeseen problems with labor as far as like them adapting it. So I think it's very important when you're choosing tech to see what's gonna make your labor most efficient and not really impede it. I was wondering here if anyone has a situation that they might have been in where when choosing tech, they have seen an advantage of it actually cutting labor costs, or if they've seen the opposite happen. Does anyone have an example of that you've run into?
I've seen it during implementation. You surge during implementation to get everyone on board. Like we went from ECC to S4HANA.
Okay.
And just the amount of people that came in, you had to bring in to get that. I mean, SAP's a monster anyways,
yeah.
Like Dynamics. But yeah, you definitely see a surge, and SAP's kind of like a 2-year journey before you're...
Right. Do you, did you see the advantages once you adopted it, or?
No, I left.
Oh.
I left mid implementation. I mean, I was well versed in it, but our bridging gap, called the ZLE 16,
okay,
we kept it in place. So for me, freight just moved from SAP into IntelliTrans carrier point.
Right.
It was, for me, my team didn't see a big change in the ZLE 16. That report where you tender freight didn't change.
Yeah, and, you know, I think too with buying tech, I think, or like in the choosing phase, I think sometimes people just do it to do it, you know, like an SAP, for instance, like, okay, it's a big company, let's choose this one. So I think, you know, when in choosing tech, it's super important to not just go off brand. It's to see like how they're going to benefit what you're doing, and if they're going to, I think a big thing is their their kind of customization to like what you're doing to see where it fits in with you, right? Like I'm in sales, and every company uses Salesforce. They just use it because Salesforce is there, but there's a ton of other CRMs out there that are better fit for like the size of your company and what you're trying to do. So I think that's an important thing to consider. Additionally, automation cuts shipping and handling times by up to 50%. However, it could add time on as well, like in your instance, I've seen it where people have, adopted like for WMS. So our product, we integrate to WMSs, and I've seen a lot of issues with the WMS, like almost impeding their flow of work and costing them time. And, at the end of the day too, I think, like if it's interrupting the flow of things, it's really not worth it. So I think it's very important, a couple things. Here, I'll move forward here. I think it's important to understand, like I said, the big thing I think is customization. So I'm gonna ask you guys a few questions, if you don't mind me calling on any of you. If you don't want to talk, that's fine, I get it. It's still early in the day, so. What are the biggest challenges you face in warehouse operations? Do you mind if I point to you two? Is that in your purview? What do you see as like the biggest challenges for you?
I think for 3PLs especially, I've worked in organizations where the warehouse was an offshoot just of transportation.
Right.
It's not the core thing, it's the secondary thing you do as a favor to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
If 3PL is your true main thing, you have to need it. I used to have a customer that would ask me every day, when are you gonna get drones in here, Tracy? When are you gonna get the drones in here? It's like, we're right next to the airport. We're not getting drones in here. It's not gonna happen. But understanding as a strategic plan, what needs, it's changed so much, even in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
What is possible today wasn't possible 5 years ago. So just really understanding what the strategic plan is on a shorter timeline, on a yearly basis, understanding the strategic.
That's a really good point too.
Yeah.
The drones are a funny thing. They're everyone's big into those. It's funny just picturing a bunch of drones just flying around the warehouse. So what these are essentially is questions that we like to go over with possible customers to like ask themselves, okay, like what challenges do you face? How can this technology solve those challenges? How do you balance costs versus benefit when choosing the new technology? What are the main reasons behind getting the tech? Are we just getting the tech to get the tech? Everyone's using drones. Let's just use some drones, see how that works. Is it just about ROI, or are there other reasons? It all goes back, I think, to value and what value it brings to like you specifically when you're buying. And I think going into buying it, it's best to understand what value you're looking for before going into buying it. Any questions around that? Okay, carry on. So a couple tips when in the choosing phase. I think a big one, this first one, technology is the means, not the goal. We're looking to get 100% shipping accuracy. That's the goal. How does technology help us get there? Again, like I mentioned earlier, the key pain points of your operation, everyone has different pain points. As far as like with our tech goes, we offer a shipping control solution. And when talking to people, they all have different pain points they have. Some might be like their proof of load. They might have 100% accuracy, but they have issues with customers telling them, oh, we didn't get this pallet, but we sent this pallet. We got to go through CCTV. So proof of load might be one. For others, like with our technology specifically, they might only miss 1 or 2 pallets a year, but they're super costly in missing those. Some might miss 1 or 2 pallets and it's not really that big of a deal. So I think it's really, again, comes down to what it means to your operation and maybe your position as a whole and why you would choose that tech for that, and knowing that before you go in. Measuring manual task times such as scanning and counting. Is automation going to help that? Sometimes with these 3PLs I see they have, our solution replaces scanning, right? It's an automated technology where the forklift driver can just pick the pallet up, load it right into the truck without anyone having to scan it. Sometimes though, they've been operating that way for so long that yes, it might make things more efficient, but it kind of messes up the workers on the floor. Like that's a huge thing to consider. Because you do not want an angry forklift driver because they're the ones that like keep everything together. And then also I think working with the tech supplier for what the hard ROI is going to be and what the soft ROI is going to be. Like the hard ROI with our product is, okay, you're saving time and you're not missing pallets and you're sending out the right pallets. But also the soft ROI, like I said, you could just, once the truck's loaded, you could automatically send these images to the customer. Here, there's the pallet. I don't need to go comb through CCTV. Okay. So now we'll move on to the integration phase. So, I am sure everyone here has some sort of horror story when it comes down to integrating tech into their systems. And I think it comes down to a couple things. I think it comes down to, before you buy, understanding what the tech supplier's support is going to be in giving you the tech. Like, are you going to be there on the warehouse, if it's, has to do with a warehouse floor type of tech? Are you going to be there hands-on? If it's a WMS, how do you support us in integrating? And then training the people to use it. I think a lot of times when you buy tech in many industries, they kind of just give you the tech, you integrate it, and then it's like, good luck. Good luck. And then you have someone whose full-time job now internally is to figure out like how the tech works. And then additionally, it's understanding like what your life cycle will be with that tech supplier. What's their support like? When something goes down, how quick are you to answer it? Also, when we have, we want to buy more licenses, how quickly can we get those if we need them? And I think it comes down really to communication with them and what that's going to look like through your life cycle with the tech company. Again, a couple stats. 60% of companies can find that seamless integration with existing systems is crucial for maintaining the business value of new technologies. And proper integration plan and execution can reduce implementation time by 30%. So you see there that if it's done properly, and it's all really on your tech supplier. Like when you're buying the tech, you're not just buying the tech, you're buying the company that comes behind the tech. And again, like how responsive they are going to be, how much of their IT is going to help your IT. I mean, some 3PLs, they don't even have like an IT person on site. They contract it out. So that's something that I think is a bit scary when I talk to them. Like, they might need the tech, they might want the tech, but they don't want to deal with the problems that comes with just like implementing the tech. So how are you going to work with me to make sure this integrates properly and seamlessly? Now, a couple questions to ask like in the integration phase. What are the biggest risks or challenges you've encountered when implementing the new tech? And how have you addressed them? So ask them, candidly, okay, what challenges have you seen when you've implemented your tech? Because every tech company has challenges when they've implemented. They might say it's seamless integration, nothing is seamless integration. So, just having them be candid with you, it's important to remember you hold the leverage when you're buying, it's your money. So getting them to be candid with you and understand what challenges there are and how have you addressed them. Everyone's gonna have challenges, but what have you done to fix them? And then again, asking them, sharing both examples of successful and challenging tech integrations in your warehouse operations. Like for ours, for instance, right now we're integrating into a cold storage facility. And we provide these labels that you put on your pallets, and they're stickers. And they had a challenge with RFID where in the cold storage facility, it was too cold and like it couldn't read the RFID. So our stickers, it wasn't a problem for us. However, there was a problem when the frost got on the stickers. Now, like the cameras can't read it, so how are we going to adjust to that, right? So it's important to understand that from the supplier, I think. Okay, a couple tips here. The trial run. I think that is super important because you are going to get exactly how they are going to be through your life cycle with them. How quickly are they to come down to do the trial run for you? How quickly are they to adjust to your needs and wants? Like, and you're seeing it in action because actions, as we know, speak louder than words. I think another thing, setting measurable success criteria for the pilot or the trial. This is what we're looking to get out of it. Well, 100% shipping accuracy, not interruption to workflow, and making those criterias, I think, soft and hard, like actual KPIs of numbers, but additionally, I don't want my forklift driver interrupted. I don't want my warehouse manager interrupted. I want them to continue to be able what they're doing, but at a higher success rate. Assigning an individual, like I want a project manager from your company to be here on the ground. We're doing a month trial. I want them to be here for a month to make sure things go well. And ask the provider for an integration plan that demonstrates minimal interference to their daily operations again. So again, I think it's important to communicate and tell them what you want and see if they measure up to that. Because, with a trial, you can then cut the cord after if it didn't go well, but it's really important to make sure that in the trial, they are doing what they said they would do, because that's going to mimic, I think, continuing on your life cycle relationship with that tech provider. Okay, and then the fun part, using the tech. Okay, like the proof is in the pudding. We're now using the tech. And 80% of organizations that track the ROI of their technology investments report seeing sustained business value. So what that means is constantly holding the tech accountable to what it said it was going to do. Like, I would suggest setting up, especially early on, the first 6 months, the first year, like a monthly check-in where they are providing you, these, with tech, they should be able to read on their end what they're providing to you and what they've been able to do for you. And I think it's important to set like a monthly check-in and put it on them to show up with reports of how you've helped us. Do you know what I mean? I mean, not all tech obviously is going to work like that, but most tech on their back end, they're tracking everything they're doing and how they're helping you. And then, understanding, well, you promised me 100% shipping accuracy. We've only had 98% shipping. Why is that? What are you doing to fix that? 75% of businesses report that continuous training improves employee engagement and satisfaction, leading to better usage of new technologies. Again, these, tech companies, they'll put in upgrades, they'll put in new integrations into their tech. When they release that, making sure they're not only like reporting that to you, but then coming and showing you how to use it and how to be more efficient. So you're not just getting like a monthly email, hey, we fixed this bug, we've done this, we've done this. Like, that really does me no good. I don't know how to like implement that. Okay. A couple questions, again, following the format to understand when you're actually adopting the tech. How do you define and measure the success of the new technology once it's been implemented? Maybe it's a like 30, 60, 90-day plan. We were looking for this in 30 days, we're looking for this in 60, we're looking for this in 90, and how they're going to measure up to that, and putting it on them to provide you with that ROI within that time frame. How do you track ROI or operational impact from tech investments? What data do you rely on? So again, like what I was saying earlier, like understanding from them maybe monthly reports on how they're meeting that ROI. I would put the onus on them to do it. They're the ones providing the service. I think it's on them to provide you with the ROI the service is providing. What strategies have helped ensure your team consistently using tech tools the right way and over time? So if you've integrated tech in the past, what have you done best to actually make that tech work? Looking at tech that you've used that works, that really helps you. Couple tips. Ask the supplier to deliver ongoing data and calculations. Making sure the supplier provides the needed support and SLAs. Schedule timely process checks and training. And assign an owner in your organization to monitor changes required from the technology. So that is how we look at the full process. Out of those three, if I could ask you, Could I ask you, sir, what do you think out of those three processes? So the choosing the tech, the implementing, and then using the tech. In your experience, if you had experience in this, what do you think is like the hardest part for you in that?
The implementation,
Why do you say that?
integrating with the existing systems. So I work for Intel, so we have sort of tried integrating autonomous robots in our warehouse lines, right? But then having it integrate to our existing WMS,
Yep.
that was a challenge.
And was it on their side or your side, do you think?
They said that, they'll make it work with our
Yeah.
existing system, but it was not that straightforward. We had to do some, manual upload of Excels from their data into our data, converting our data into their template, right? Our inventory list and all.
Yep. Okay. What about you, ma'am? Out of those three,
Integration,
integration as well?
yeah, because you probably have to change your process.
Yes. Yes, people do not like change. That is very true. Okay.
I do think it's important that you have someone on your side, or, on the provider
Yes.
side, on the tech provider side, who has run inventory in the ditch before
Yes.
and had to pull it back.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can give me all the fancy interfaces and things like that, but if you don't truly understand what you're about to cause if it goes off.
Yeah.
I think that the balance between the operational and tech, on the tech side is
Yeah.
super important, not just the technology.
Yeah, that's a great
right?
point. That is. Does anyone have a positive experience with buying tech that they'd like to share? Well, it's a bad sign for tech.
Yeah, when Wood Warehouse was transportation tech.
Okay.
That we bought it from one company, one of our subsidiaries. They didn't do what they wanted to do. I changed positions, and my warehouse was doing everything manually. I'm like, oh, good Lord, you're in the 1700s. So we brought the tech in, and immediately I saw productivity in the transportation manager space.
Why do you think that is?
Because they're still doing stuff by spreadsheet and by phone call and by email, versus you're waiting for your phone to go off, versus, you see it come into a queue.
Right.
You get an alert, you get a text that says, hey, you need to quote this freight.
How did like the workers adapt to that tech? Were they like excited about it, or was it
Yes,
something?
he was extremely excited. We hired a dispatcher for our internal fleet. Now he's our backup,
Mhm.
so he's taking it over. I just sent an email to the tech dude saying I need a bridge mechanism to get me through the contract here. But I found with tech, particularly like this, we have a warehouse put-away system with scanners.
Yep.
But when we have any internet problems in our 200,000 square foot warehouse, we essentially freeze. We can't do put-away.
Right.
Because the inventory is still sitting in a transfer status. So with your tech, if I know, I'm in the sports construction turfing industry.
Okay.
Typical fields, if we're doing a field is 38, 42 rolls. So we know when they come into the warehouse.
Yeah.
And I know what bins they've been put in. And now I got a PIP ticket to ship that field. How do I know that I put all 38 onto that truck or trailer?
Tell you right now. Great segue. It's like I hired you to do that.
I'm working on 100%.
Yeah.
All the rolls are on the truck.
Right.
I'm shipping right now. It's one of my things that keep you up at night for the express.
Yeah, so this is our, wait, I don't like the talking, hold on. We have two solutions. We have a forklift solution and a ship and control solution. As you guys know, with your 3PLs and warehouses like you're talking about, like customers require cycle counts and you need to shut the warehouse down. What we have is, we have a sticker that we provide you. Additionally, with our computer vision-based cameras. They sit on the dock doors, and then we have, as you see like in front of you in that brochure, ones that go on the forklift. The idea is, once the product comes in, we send you the labels, and we marry the labels with whatever your unique identifier is now, like whatever barcode you use. It will just print out. We have a coupling station over the printer. They use Honeywell Zebra, whatever it may be, and we integrate with the WMS. and what it'll do is put that information that was on the barcode into the sticker. Now, once it's labeled, with the cameras, we're able to track it anywhere it goes in the warehouse. So if it's in shelf XYZ, we know it's there. We know when it was put there. We know when it left there. With the cameras on the forklift, because as they're driving, they're always tracking and picking up at full speed what is where, if it moved, if something's missing, and it will be alerted if it was missing. Then additionally, like this is an example of like how you'd have to scan. Instead now you can just pull up right to it, grab it. You don't need to scan it anymore and put it on the forklift and go. Actually, Akiam, do you want to come up here for a sec? So this is our VP of product. We're just about to go over the forklift.
We can go ahead and I can answer.
Okay, yeah. And now, like your warehouse operations will have in front of them pictures of it, where it was, where it went, and this is so how the camera sits on the forklift. Again, the idea is to like simplify your process, but amplify the results. Like we don't want to get too much in the mix of interrupting what you have going on. So with this camera now, instead of the scanning, we could get rid of that, but we're not interrupting their workflow. So this is our, like the forklift solution. Additionally, on the back of that, this is just more of that. This is our shipping control solution, so what you're talking about. So what we have here is those same cameras that we put on the dock doors, and there is 2 cameras and a screen. So the idea with this is when you're shipping them out, right, like whether it's the turf or pallets, the idea is since we are married to your WMS, we know the load manifest that's supposed to go on that truck. And we will know what's the right one to go on or was, got left behind or didn't, and then provide you with a proof of load at the end of the day with that. So we're going to see here an example of one of the warehouses we work in and how the ship patrol works. So you get the pallet, you put, as you see, like we provide you with the stickers, and then like this is the warehouse's unique barcode they use anyway. And now whatever information is there is additionally on our tracker there. Now these are the dock door cameras that we put on to be able to read.
This is the former ones, the ones that we
Yeah,
on the sides of the gate, not on top like you.
Yeah, so you just saw there 2 on the top. We actually put them on the side now for better tracking. So you see here, instead of having to scan, this individual can just pick up the pallet, drive it right in, and this is what our cameras are seeing when the pallet is loaded. Once it's loaded, if you look at the bottom left there's a screen by the dock door, and it's going to tell them, okay, like we know there's these 4 specific pallets have to go on this truck. That pallet is a good pallet that has to go on this truck. And additionally, at the same time, the warehouse or operations manager or warehouse manager will be getting informed that, okay, these are the right ones loaded on. The second one, same thing. Okay, we're good to go there. This third one additionally, okay, good pallet. And then this 4th one is going to be the big bad. That one's a no-go. So once it's loaded on, if you're looking at the bottom left there, so they're alerted on the floor immediately that this is a bad pallet. Additionally, who's ever controlling has the eyes on, like the operations manager, is going to be alerted that that is not a good pallet. Now, once he pulls it out, the camera's able to read it again and let him know that, like the system will reset, okay, the pallet was taken off. So now you're good to go and you load on the correct pallet. Additionally, after it's done, we're providing you with the proof of load. So as I was saying earlier, a lot of talking to warehouses, I understand that there's an issue in terms of the customer will say, hey, we didn't get this, or we got it damaged. And then you spend hours combing through CCTV trying to provide the fact that you did, because most of these companies, most of these 3PLs have good shipping accuracy, but the customer will say they didn't. So we provide you with that proof of load. I know one of the warehouses we're working with, we're talking to them about, once immediately it's loaded onto the truck, they send an email to the customer with the pictures in it already to like mitigate any questions there might be that it was loaded on. And you know, you could click into the load manifest and it's right there, like this pallet, click on that, this is the video of it being loaded. And we provide, like I said, pictures and or videos for you. The idea being, like I said, there's no pallet. It'll alert you if you didn't load on all the pallets, like you left one behind or left turf behind, you know, it'll tell them this is no go, you can't send this out. You know, our idea is to reduce dependency on the manual labor, to reduce operational costs, and then improve like customer satisfaction. I've seen in the past, it's had the ability to help 3PLs land customers because, yep, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. What about what if you're receiving carton freight before palletizing?
Before palletizing? So you get it, you're saying you receive it like in piece of loose, and then you put it in the pallet? So once you put it in the pallet, do you guys label it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would just put it in the pallet and you'd label it the way you would label it anyway. It would just have our sticker on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you have 50 cartons.
Yes, sir.
on that pallet.
Yep.
Right, we have our barcode that we typically use. You're saying the same information that we would use right now, we will integrate onto something additional.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
So are you asking to,
Sorry,
I was saying, are you asking to, what if you only ship 40 cartons?
That was part 2 follow-up. Is
Yeah.
Now it's going to see it.
Is there
And it's going to be a partial.
Eventually, whatever exists in the WMS, we have the smart eyes of your management system, the management system, right? Eventually, whatever information that if that pallet has 50 cartons, this is what we will present eventually in our system. But the visual proof is of the label that went through the gate with the whole pallet as a one existing, right? If it has 50 pallets, so if it has 50 cartons in that pallet and the pallet went through the gate, this is what we will indicate on. Does that make sense?
But if I'm shipping 20, how would it work out? Because now we have a pallet with a label that has 30 left and 20 that are going outbound.
And those 20, you put them in different pallet item, right, and put a different label. So 30, one pallet will go out, you're going to recognize the pallet as a whole, right? As in the information, the metadata of that pallet. The other pallet has its own metadata as a pallet, right? Those 20 cartons in that pallet.
It's going to know once those 20 are gone that pallet that had 50 has now been reduced to
Because
30.
you update it in your own WMS
Yeah.
system and
That's
you
the
integrate
key right
it
there.
with the system. Again, without the smart eye of your management system. Once it goes through the gate, or in the case of the inventory accuracy, once it goes on the shelf from your retrieving it from the shelf.
Thank you.
So, from the manufacturing perspective, let's say we're implementing the lean system, right? So you pour your pallets out from your warehouse, do you get the signal to your production control so they know how to fulfill your supermarket? You know what I mean? Because right now, what I'm saying here is your system is managed everything in the warehouse.
Yes, ma'am.
But ideally, from the lean perspective, we want you to send the signal back to the upstream. So where you know how to schedule next according to what you shipped out, because everything's connected. So that means if I pull my products, it's below my supermarket level, I should send the signal back to my production control, know exactly what to make.
There is not, in general, we can integrate with any system. We have it's called API. Most of the integration is very simple because we are using very simple entities eventually of the palette, of the items in some manifest and so on. So in this use case that you were describing, we can integrate to the other production line system and report to them whatever was shipped or retrieved or any application. That's a inventory. It's not a big problem.
Thanks.
Anyone else have any more questions?
Should we invite you all to our booth, right?
Yeah, we're, Yeah, if you go downstairs, right when you walk in the convention center, we're right on the right with the first booth. There's a first row or the second row right on the right. We have like a live demo we could show you if you're so inclined to come by. Love to have you, give you more information. But other than that, if there's no more questions, I appreciate your time. We'll enjoy the rest of your conference. Got some good weather, nice hotel, so it's good this time of year, so enjoy.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you guys.